my name's Christine, and I'm here to help you make a healthy meal for dinner. So what we have here is some chicken, some hot peppers, some tomatoes, onion, bell peppers, and some spices, a little bit of garlic, and we're going to be making fajitas. So first what we're going to do is we're just going to take off the label, and we're going to take out some of the chicken. Now this. Also, before, you want to make sure you wash your hands. So I just washed my hands. So I'm just going to cut the chicken to nice strips. This will make it a lot easier too when we're cooking. It cooks a lot faster in the strips than in the chicken breast. So we're gonna finish cutting up the chicken, and as you can see, I cut it up. I cut about 2 big breasts, which should serve about 3 to 4 people. Also, the chicken is like 97% fat-free, so that's pretty lean. So then I'm just gonna take my slices and I'm just gonna put it on a plate. And they're still pretty big, but at least they're thinner and it's a lot easier to cook this way. And then you can still cut them up again once you're done. So, put those on there. And then now I'm going to take my seasoning. And so actually first I'm going to wash my hands. Because my hands have a lot of meat on them. Some of the pepper, and I'm just gonna like that, and then I'm just gonna put some pepper throughout. It's kind of just like seasoning the meat a little bit. Just adds a little bit of flavor. I'm also gonna put a little bit of onion pepper and then a little bit of chili powder. I'm not a big fan of spices or spicy food, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit. But it depends on your preference. You can put a little bit more, a little bit less. And I just put enough so that it gets all the chicken. If you want to put a little bit more, a little bit less, totally up to you. And also if I want, I can cut up a little bit of garlic. I might do that later on. So now I'm going to take my meat and I'm going to turn on my pan. I'm going to put it on about medium. So if you have a stove, probably around a 4 to 5. And then I'm going to take my olive oil. I'm just going to dump probably about half a cup in there. So I'm going to have to add a little bit more. So there's that. It's completely covered in olive oil. Just like a little, it's like completely covered a little bit. And then I'm just going to take my meat. And I'm going to put the side that I seasoned down first. And start hearing it cooking. All of this in. It's all touching the plate. Okay, perfect. Now I'm just going to put this plate in the sink because we don't want to reuse a plate that had uncooked meat on it. So I'm just going to put this in the sink and then I'm going to wash my hands again because they touch the raw meat. Now that I use my chicken, I'm going to put the leftover chicken. I'm just going to cover it and then put it back in the fridge. And then I'm going to make sure I put the knife that I just used in the sink. because I don't want to use anything that had raw meat on it. So I'm also going to clean this off a little bit. So this has soap on this time. Soap. Get it all off, nice and clean. It doesn't have any pieces of meat. So I got a new clean knife. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut out the middle. Personally, I think this is the easiest way to do it. And I'm just going to pull it apart like that. I'm just going to cut them. And I'm just going to cut them into big, long strips. And I'm making sure that there's no seeds involved. So as long as you cut them into strips, that's all you have to do. This one. So I'm going to use about a half a bell pepper for each of them, each of the different colors. So, because I got green, red, and yellow. Again, just in the middle. So now I just finished coloring the yellow. So I have some yellow, some green, and some red. So I'm going to come back over to my chicken. And I'm going to grab a fork. Any fork will do. I'm going to come over here and see how there's getting a nice white under it. So just going to allow me to just flip it because it means that it's being cooked. And I want the whole thing to eventually be white. I don't want any of this raw. So I'm just going to flip it a little bit. Trying to make sure all got the raw chicken gets all of it. Okay. And then I'm just gonna leave this. I'm gonna get a towel. I'm just gonna leave this over here so I can keep moving this foot. So once I'm done with that, I'm gonna come back over here. I'm gonna get all the veggies that I've cut up. I'm just gonna take them. And I'm just going to put them in a little soup bowl. Okay. And I'm going to come back over here. And there's still a few seeds stuff. So now that we have all the bell peppers cut up, we're going to cut up the tomato. So again, you just cut the center out. And then cut it down the middle. And then I cut it down the middle again. And I cut down again, and then I just chop it up like this. Okay, so I'm going to keep cutting up tomatoes. I'm going to use about a half a tomatoes with the 2 chicken breasts to feed about 4 people. So I'll just keep cutting this up. And once I cut all that up, then I'm going to take my pan here. And I'm just going to put this in here. All of that. So now I have some tomatoes and a bunch of different type of bell peppers. So then lastly, I'm going to add a jalapeno pepper. So cut the top off. And then just slice it down the middle. That. And then you just want to cut around the seeds. Those seeds aren't on there. Check this off. For these, I kind of like cutting them up a lot smaller. So I cut that up like that. So I'm only going to use about a half of a jalapeno pepper because I really don't like spicy foods. But if you like like spicy foods, then I add a lot more, but it adds good flavor. And then lastly, I'm just going to add a little bit of an onion. So not that much. I added probably about a third. Put it up. Cut it into pieces. Cut them into pieces. You cut them into little pieces, big pieces, whatever your preference is. These little pieces. And then again, I'm just going to put them in my bowl. Now that I have all of these, and my chicken's looking pretty good. It's not done yet. You can definitely still see there is some pink where it's getting there. Okay. I'm actually going to add some of these in there. I'm going to take my hand, it's clean, add about a handful, and then another handful. Try to get a lot of those in there. So we'll add some flavor. And then with the rest of that, I'm just going to take a little bit more olive oil, put it in here, so I get some. And then now that I have olive oil in there, I'm just going to turn it on. And I'm going to put on a low, or about a 2. And I'm going to get my seasonings. Back to the seasonings. Take some seasonings and put some more pepper on. I do probably about 5 turns, so everything's covered. And then a little tiny bit of chili pepper. And again, add a little bit of onion. So now that I have all that, I'm going to give it a spoon. Just stir it. So we just get some seasoning to the veggies. Now they're just kind of getting a little seasoned. Come back over here and see how my meat's doing. Probably gonna use this. So for the chicken, I use like a really big skillet, whereas for the vegetables, I used more of a bowl. Now I'm just going to continue to let it cook until all the chicken is done. So it probably needed about 10 minutes total to cook chicken. So we probably have about 4 to 5 minutes left, which is perfect when we add this. Keep cooking my vegetables. Some crispy. Okay, so now that we've had the meat cook for a little bit longer, our veggies are going both. We're just going to come over here and we're just going to put the fork in the meat and just kind of slice through. This just allows us to just look at it and see that there's no red. So there isn't any red, it's all white, which means that it's cooked. I'm going to go all the way through. And you want to make sure you do it in the middle, because the middle is the last spot that it gets cooked. You want to like move it there. So that one's good. And I'm just going to go on some bigger pieces. Double check. And again, as you can see, there isn't any pink. It's all white. That's pretty good too. Same with this. So now that it's all good to go, So I'm gonna keep it in there. And then I'm gonna get a big plate. I'm just gonna take it all out. All I need on one plate. You see how it kept on a lot of the seasoning? That's good. So now that I have my chicken all cut up, I'm just going to put it on taco. And I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to pick up some veggies. Bell peppers, onions, however many you want. And then now, just fold it up and you have a meal.